Hey, how's it going, guys? Welcome to another video. This one's going to be about how your brain works and how to maximize your time and your thinking and to really get the most out of your day. Little tricks you can do, little ways of how to maximize, your actions. And I think after watching this 10, 12-minute video, you should have a clear take on, different ways you can think, or just hopefully if you just get like one new idea out of this that will change your life and help you do more and help you reach your goals. That makes me a very happy person, a happy man, and I'm sure it will make you happy as well. So sit back, let's talk about your brain, and let's talk about how you can maximize your time. So your brain is really like a computer, right? A lot of us know this, but a lot of us don't think about it. For those who don't know what's in a computer, really you have what I think is really, really important is your RAM and making sure that's as clear as possible, efficient. RAM is basically your short-term memory, the things you're doing in the moment, and making sure it's basically what's used in a computer to display this Google tab right now or record this video. That's going on in my RAM, right? In the day-to-day, it might look like the short-term actions you were doing, you're thinking in the moment, stuff like this. You have your subconscious mind as well, which is very similar to your hard drive, which is on a computer. That's really your storage of your computer, like all your files, all of your applications, anything you do, it's all stored in that kind of big storage unit, right? That's people usually know how much storage their Mac has, like 512 gigabytes or a terabyte of storage. In your subconscious mind and your brain in general, you have literally an infinite amount of storage. So you can really never run out of space to learn new things. And I think the brain is kind of just developed that way, which is pretty crazy, but there really is no limit, at least for what we know now, for the knowledge we have of how much you can learn. And really no man probably ever has really reached the capacity of how much you can learn. Like you can really store anything. It's almost impossible to learn as much, or just like the level of consciousness we're on, right? To really fill up that space in your brain as our species, right? As us. So don't worry about space in your brain. Then you also have your GPU, like your processing unit, general processing unit, which is really the speed, how fast your computer's running. It's almost like a battery, but not really. It's like think about it like that. The way I view it, it's like how fast something's moving, right? The speed of your brain and how it's chugging, how it's thinking, right? Think of that like the engine, how it's moving. I think that's a really good unit as well. Obviously, for your brain, it needs rest. It needs time to recover the GPU. To really make sure, obviously, there are times when it's running amazingly, right? So that's usually sleep. So sleep is usually how your battery recharges and how you rest. The last thing usually is your graphics card, right? Or like the way you see things. So your brain's usually taking in information and like how you interpret the world, right? So for a computer, that's like this display, right? The graphics card is really like how you see this and everything, like the video, and just really like the interpretation of it in your brain. It might be, honestly, it could be like how you view the world, right? How you view things, how clear is your lens of the world and your reality. So that's really, really important, right? How ultimately, I would want a perfect graphics card, but I just want my brain to be as good as possible, and really help me see things the way they should be seen, right? And live my life according to my goals and hitting them. And oftentimes that usually means a clear view of reality, right? That we always are striving for. But let's get into the rest of the video because this is really crucial and I know this can help. Let's think of, for this example, let's think of your brain as a computer, right? Let's make this very linear. Let's make them the same, analogous. Let's make them the same to each other, right? So you have your brain down here. Imagine there's like a little brain. We'll make this a circle. Give your brain. I don't know about you guys, but I love the Times New Roman. Maybe just like the Roman virtues and values. But okay, so we'll make this the same. Your brain and your computer. From here, right? The way your computer runs, the way really what it's based upon is the programs in your mind, right? So every computer has functions and programs it uses to determine what to do next, right? So if I were to close this Google tab, there's probably a function that's close Google tab, right? He clicked this X right here. When on click for a little programming action, right? On click, open a new tab, right? On click this X, close it, etc. Same thing for your brain. On thirst, On thirst, drink water. Is this program successful? Yes, I'm not thirsty anymore. That's very, very easy. Everyone knows that stuff. Shoot. No. Very, very easy. Everyone knows that stuff. We get into other stuff like your weights and your reading, right? So this is easier habits as well. Like I'm going to write a program like for a computer. This could be something a little more complicated that it knows it's good for. Like I'm going to store folders. I'm going to have folders, right? In a computer, I'm going to have files. And I'm going to store these in an organized way where I can let the viewer really sort them by the grid or clean them up and stuff like this. So that's like a more complicated programs, similar to, reading, right? Like I'm going to read this book and I'm going to see if it helps me or not. And I might not necessarily need to use it. I might not need it. I could be reading something that's not good, but the majority of the time it's going to be like a folder. My user might not even ever use this, might not sort things by tags, might use them, but it's really good to have and it helps a lot of people, right? Same thing for reading. Like it's really good to read and it's really good to get more information. So the same thing here, same thing for the weights, getting your body strong and helping your mind, right? Etc. So everyone like kind of knows this. This is kind of irrelevant information, or people usually know this. So if not, like even just reviewing this on this video with me here, it's really, really good for your brain to remember this and how it works. So props to you for, continuing to watch and just refreshing your brain on how it works. And what's so interesting is that you can get really, really, really deep with your programs and how they work. Really, 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 really thinking wisely. You can really think wisely about your programs. Jeff Bezos made a concept, and he probably got it from somewhere else, but we'll attribute it to him right now, called second order consequences. And a lot of guys, online, I mean, there's people like Sam Ovens and Charlie Morgan, right, who talk about this second order consequences based thinking. And imagine a man walking. A man is walking, and everyone knows that the sun, food, and water are essential for you, right? People know like this is information that they have in their subconscious. They know this is important to get when they can. This will help their body improve and do more with their life. So imagine a man walking, and he has 10 minutes to walk. 10 minutes. And he's walking. He has his shirt on. Maybe he's listening to music or reading a book or whatever. But he has his shirt on, and he does a quick lap, and he doesn't have anything else. He's not really doing anything. He's just kind of sitting there. His brain's kind of wandering, but like he's there, he's walking. It's good. It's good. Like it's good that he's walking, and he gets back to his house, and that 10 minutes went by. So imagine a man who knows all this information. These two men know the same thing. They know that the sun, they know that the food, they know that the water is both good for them. So now imagine the second man watches this man and thinks, how could I do that better? Like, how could I get more out of my walk? Well, okay, I know water is good for me, and I know there's consequences of not drinking water. I'll get thirsty and I'll have to drink water later. And I know that it will make my brain, the water will help my brain and it will help me become more active, right, in my brain and my thoughts. So I'm going to drink water on this walk. I'm going to drink water. Imagine that's like a bottle of water. That's the worst bottle of water I've ever seen. But imagine this man drinks water on this 10-minute walk. So now this man is getting mild exercise, a little more focus, and he's drinking water. Now the third man sees this guy and says, wait, I know that the sun is important for my body as well. I think that's awesome that this guy's drinking water and he's walking. But you know what? I'm gonna like roll up my sleeves, or I'm gonna take off my shirt, and I'm gonna get some sunlight while I'm walking. I think that will help me get better deep sleep at night, because it does. And I think that will improve my mood, because the sunlight is known to improve people's moods. And that's what it does. It's vitamin D, and I need vitamin D, right? So the third man has the water, he has the water, he's getting the sunlight from the sun, and he's walking. So these are great things, all in the same 10 minutes. There's a fourth man that looks, I'm going to have some almonds in my pocket, or I'm going to have some nuts, right, that I can snack on. He's getting water, sun, walking, and food. The fifth man looks, or maybe we're on 6 now, but the fifth man looks. The fifth man says, hey, wait, I know these are essentials, but what are things I can do extra? Well, maybe I'll really, really look at the trees today, and I'll try and think about how the trees were different than yesterday. I'll really study the leaves, because that will help me focus more on like little details later, right? Because like you guys might not know, but when you like really study something like really intently, like your focus is very linear. It's very hard to have like disciplined focus one way and then like not discipline the other, right? So it's like, I'm very disciplined about, how I write my novel. Like I'm very disciplined about the grammar. I want to make sure it sounds really good, it's clear. But then after that, like if your head's spiraling, right, it's like very hard. Like you want to be pretty consistent. You want to be as consistent as possible. So I'm going to study the details of the leaves so I can really maybe have a better chance of finding the details of my computer programming, and that once like that periods I'm missing, or one program that can help me. So I'm going to like really focus on this walk. So another man, I know it's getting crazy, but another man is focusing on the walk. The 6th or 7th man looks and says, oh, I can track my heart rate with an Apple Watch, and I can see my resting heart rate. I can see how it's improving. The 7th or 8th man comes and says, when someone walks by, I'm going to say hello. I'm going to work on my social skills, or I'm just going to work on connecting socially. And I'm going to say hi to people. I'm going to be positive. The 9th man comes and says, wow, this guy's doing all these things. Maybe I'll walk for 12 minutes instead, because I can get more out of the walk, Like you can really, really develop these, like, how do I get more done for less in the same amount of time? And then you'll recognize, like, the man who's just walking and going back to his home in those 10 minutes is going to be so far behind the guy who's getting the water, the sun, the food, the heart rate, the hello, the focus, the presence, the water. I might have said that, but like it's gonna compound. And this is what Jeff Bezos was talking about when he said second order consequences and second order based thinking, where what are the consequences of not doing something, right? And another great one is like, what are the consequences of not saying like hello, or like being in a good mood, right? Like you could really just like miss something that could really be beneficial for you. And I think it would really help, and something I'm always working on is to make this a part of my life and always try and find things where I can do more for less. I think that's like very, very important in success and being scrappy and resourceful. Like I think like the greatest thinkers and the greatest people really, really internalize this and make sure that in the same 5 minutes, they might be getting more than someone else's in 50. Like I think that's just how these guys are like really up here. And just in general, I think it would just really help everybody to think of this stuff. So I'm always thinking of that, and I hope I'll see you guys on the next one.